What I was thinking running now.
Mr. Stewart?
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you all know, I am Kenyatta Stewart. I am standing here with Mayane Robinson, and this young lady here is Jaquil's sister. And we're here today on behalf of the family. Of course, we have his mom who was here, his other siblings. He has cousins and aunts here. His father is His father's also here, and there's about a good 100 or so more people outside. We're just here to, express ourselves, perhaps give you some recommendations, and, hopefully we can walk out of here with a plan to make sure this doesn't happen again. To give you a little factual background, last Tuesday, Jaquil was on his way from his family's house, and while he was walking, he was hit by a off-duty police officer. The officer was driving on Temple Street, of course, in the city of Paterson. He was with one of his other brothers who was also in the audience, and the two of them were walking. They both were hit by the officer. I believe the officer's last name is Urena. From that point, of course, the brother who's sitting here was trying to help the brother that unfortunately passed away. The officer drove off in his vehicle, and of course the investigation starts. Unfortunately, one of the brothers did not make it. As you can see, the other brother did make it here, and as a result of that, unfortunately, we're planning for a funeral. The young child that you see doing a little movement just happens to be a special young child, and when he gets older, he'll appreciate where he is right now. We are also here with, of course, his child's mother and her family. Like I said, a host of family, a host of friends. But I think it's important to note that, unfortunately, I've been here before for this. A little different circumstances. Last time we were here from Randolph Watley, that was a auxiliary police officer. And, unfortunately, there was an accident. That person was working as an auxiliary officer, and unfortunately, Randolph died. I think we need to do something. And, of course, you all have the power to do your part. I don't expect you to be involved in the prosecution at all. I don't expect you to call the prosecutor at all. But with that said, we'll send some information to them as well. We're going to have a number of people speak, of course, but just to kind of lay out what the idea is, one of the first recommendations that we came up with as a unit, as a group, as a community, is the idea of putting a stoplight on Temple Street. Now, I don't know what that takes. I don't know if, Temple Street is is one of those areas that's allowed to have a stoplight, but I think we need to change some things. As you know, you go to North 7th and Temple Street, there's a stop sign there right next to the liquor store, and there's no other stop sign until we get to Matlock Street. And then there's a stoplight when we get to Presidential Boulevard. So what that means is people drive up and down that hill. I'm guilty of it too. I have to push the gas to go up the hill, and sometimes I push the gas to go down the hill. And God forbid if it's snowing, or God forbid if there's potholes, well, before you know it, I'm driving out of control too. With that said, we're going to ask that maybe somewhere on North 5th, North 4th, there's room for a stoplight there. We'll put a camera there, and maybe that can help the police with their investigation. Unfortunately, that's a heavy drug area, but that can help us. So that'll definitely be something that we hope and we pray that you do immediately. I'm not sure what else is on the agenda for the next few weeks or so, but let's do whatever we have to do to get this done, because, like I said, I do not want to be here again, especially in the same area. Speaking of stoplights, though, speaking of stop signs, 84 North 6th Street is where he lived. That just happened to be next to a liquor store, but that's a very, 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 very busy intersection. Naomi, his mother, asked for a stop sign in that area 2 years ago. Well, this week I spent probably every day of the week there, seeing cars drive by, speed by. So unfortunately, there's a possibility that these little kids that live in that area may end up hit. I'm not sure what it's going to take, but we can put a stop sign on North 6. North 6 has a stop sign, but Clinton Street doesn't. Doesn't stop anyway. Listen, by all means, while this neighborhood here has been asking for it, doesn't take much. I know it doesn't take much. I'm not even asking for a stop light, I'm asking for a stop sign. We can do that tomorrow. I thought about taking one of the stop signs from somewhere else and putting it there because I recognize that how many kids are in the area, and all day I'm sitting here, I'm doing this. I'm moving to the side, I'm asking my goddaughter to move to the side because you know what? I'm afraid she's gonna get hit. Just a recommendation. One of our last recommendations is the following. I can't say anything about Officer Urena. I don't know him. I don't know if I've ever seen him. Apparently he's done some good work in the past. I want you to think we're here to bash police. However, there's either two things happened that day. Either he's a vicious thug that hit somebody and kept going, or he panicked. So I'm gonna ask somebody to put together some type of ordinance so that the officers know what to do when they're off duty. I mean, I think it sounds like something that they should be doing already, but I don't know. I've never heard anything about it, off-duty officer training. But guess what? You're an officer 24 hours a day. So if you see someone hurt, you're supposed to react. If you hit someone, you're supposed to react. And you're certainly not supposed to leave them there. Well, unfortunately, we have to accept the fact that he left him for dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And at the present moment, I'm going to put together a letter to send to the prosecutor's office. And the reason why I'm going to send a letter to the prosecutor's office is because I'm going to ask them, not out of disrespect, but the family's asking them if they'll change the venue of who's going to prosecute this young man. Well, you might ask the question, why? Why isn't Passaic County Prosecutor's Office, why shouldn't that be the place to prosecute Officer Urena? Well, every officer in the city arrests people. And when they have a case in the county, well, they have to deal with the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office. So of course, he doesn't work for the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office. He does not. But he works with them. I'm sure he's been on the force for X amount of years, and he's probably met with a number of prosecutors who's probably going to feel bad about the fact that they may have to prosecute someone who they've worked with. That's equivalent to me prosecuting one of you all. I know you. I will feel bad about doing something to harm you, even though you may deserve it. So it's probably a good idea. Maybe you all can send a letter to say, you know what? We don't want this to be one of those questionable things. Because you know what? I just happen to have a lot of experience in criminal justice, because I happen to do a lot of it. And I remember about 6 months ago, I represented a young lady. She was 65 years old, and unfortunately, she's driving a New Jersey Transit bus, and she had an accident in Passaic. She hit a person who was crossing the street. Probably hit the person from that side of the council chamber to this side of the council chamber. Well, we went through the case. She was prosecuted for vehicle homicide. So if she hit someone and didn't leave the scene, wasn't drinking, was on her job, and she gets a vehicle homicide, well, why can't Officer Urena get a vehicle homicide? Now, I'm not going to stand here as a hypocrite. I'm not. I'm the biggest advocate for freedom. I am. I'm no one to sit here and tell you that I want every one of my clients to get a good deal, and quite frankly, some of my clients got to go to prison because they've done something that they weren't supposed to do. Some people should get another chance, and that young lady that I'm talking about got another chance. So the end of that story was good, but she didn't leave the person for dead. So well, before we call the family up, one of the sad parts about me being next to this young lady here is because I'm a godfather. Unfortunately, her father was hit by a car in Paterson on Maryland Avenue. Imagine that. Imagine being a little girl who has to deal with not only her father dying from a vehicle, but her brother. And she doesn't hate cops because she wants to be a correctional officer. But I just think that you all should do your part. You don't prosecute people, but do your part. Let's not disagree on something that we need, which is safety. And I ain't talking about bullets, I ain't talking about guns, I ain't even talking about Officer Arena. I'm talking about a stoplight. I'm talking about an ordinance. Just like there's a capacity in here, there's an ordinance that says we can't, 200 people that walk with us can't be in here. But there should be an ordinance that, and we can say, we're gonna look at the city a different way. And we're gonna look at those areas that may not have stop signs, may not have stop lights. Then we're gonna rethink things. Now I gotta tell you, Paterson Police actually did a great job where they, escorted us here. I'm used to calling them sheriff, but the director, Speezy Al, has been on my phone. He's actually spoke to the family. We went there together. So I appreciate, and the family appreciates their efforts. I want to ask you this. The other officers who are in the area who don't recognize that you got to slow down and take it easy sometimes, they better get the picture. They got to get the picture. Because unfortunately, we're asking them to stay calm when we got officers, and again, Sergeant Price has been there, Dalton Price has been there, Sergeant Easton, a number of officers have been there. But there's some other officers that's coming through the area giving a hard time. And I ain't out here to tell you the names, but listen, please, and just be aware that the funeral is going to be this weekend. There are going to be a lot of kids in the area. We might want to block off the street. Clinton, North 6th to North 5th, simple as that. Let's block off that area because we're expecting a lot of people to be here. I won't be here, but we're expecting a lot of people to be there. And I don't want them to come there with the wrong attitude, and I don't want my people to leave with the wrong attitude. But with that said, we're going to start inviting the family up.
Thank you, Attorney Stewart, to our Mayor of Absentia, Council President, my most esteemed and honored fellow public servant. I stand here not as a biological member of the family, but it is my family because I have the unusual privilege and pleasure of pastoring a number of persons in this family. I serve, as you know, Christ Temple Baptist Church here in our city, and this family became affiliated with our church before this most tragic incident took place. We stand here tonight because this family is in need of justice. They deserve answers. And for a case like this, as Attorney Stewart said, we're not here to bash the police. We all need the police. We all enjoy the safety And what a commendable job Sergeant Price and the other officers did today by escorting us here, and I believe they're going to wait to escort us back home when it'll probably almost dark, and all of the cooperation that they have provided, and all those who have been involved in this process. We're just here asking, as Attorney Stewart said, that you do your part to make sure that a lot of the things and injustices that the community suffers are addressed on the legislative level, where you can enact ordinances or legislation to address some of these things. We're not here as tattletales to talk about it. All you have to do is just ride around the city like some of us do, and you can see all kinds of things happening. I serve as senior chaplain of the fire department of our city. I was sitting at a red light and got a call to respond to a fire, and a police officer issued me a ticket for talking on the phone. Car wasn't moving. I was sitting at the traffic light. Went to court. Judge threw it out. Didn't even want to hear it. There are things like that, but we see officers riding through town, talking on their cell phones while on duty. We're not tattletales. Pardon me, please. We are not tattletales, but we are respectable, tax-paying citizens. And we would just like you to address some of those things. And as I said, if you just ride through your city, which is our city, we all share the same city, you can see some of the things. You can see some of the hot spots and some of the areas that need attention from our police department. And I'd like to invite all of you, City Council, to attend the services with JaQuil on Friday night at Christ Temple. The visitation begins at 5 o'clock and the service will begin at 7. And as Attorney Stewart said, we would like to have some police presence there because we anticipate an extremely large crowd. And one thing we don't want, everything we do to express our opinion and our public rights, we don't want anyone to misconstrue it. We don't want anyone to take advantage of it and blow it out of proportion and cause it to be something that it's not. Tonight we had a peaceful protest in March. That's what we wanted. That's what took place, and I believe it's going to happen on the way home. And even in the rain, that crowd stayed together. When we were coming down Temple Street and the fire department was responding to a call, the police officers came down on their motorcycles and asked us kindly just to step to one side so the fire trucks could get through, and everybody complied. No stragglers, no dragging, no argument. We just all did what we were supposed to do. So I want to thank you for your time tonight. Thank Attorney Stewart for representing his family and doing well with it. And I ask you, in your own way of praying, remember this family in prayer because they do need your prayers. Just put yourselves in their shoes. Just juxtapose the situation and put yourselves in their shoes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next we're going to have one of his aunts. Her name is Sabrina. She's going to come up and talk.
Hi, I'm here speaking on behalf of my nephew and my sister, as well as my family, the other side, his father, his family, everyone here. I want to say that I feel that it's been so much going on for so long, and I'm glad that everyone stood up and decided to come here together as a unity to stand up, for our rights. For a long time, our constitutional rights has been violated, and everything when it comes to us, the people, is being swept under the rug. When it comes to the office of the law, the officer who hit and killed my nephew, he's being labeled as a hero. That's not a hero. To me, to my nephew, none of us. He did nothing. Maybe, yes, he did. He saved some children from a fire years ago, but what he did last Tuesday, June 16th, that was not a heroic tactic at all. A year or two ago, we had a friend of ours that was killed, almost the same incident as the same with my nephew, that was hit by a off-duty cop and was killed. And nothing was done about it. Everything was acquitted, and that was that. I am here today because we want justice done. We can't deal with it anymore. While we are going through our laws, we have had one officer in particular, I will not name, has come up there very rude and disrespectful. And it was no reason for that. I can honestly say that we have had some officers who have come up to the house. We had Sergeant Price, Spezial, and a few other officers that we do think, and they were very considerate and respectful and came and gave their condolence, and we do thank each and every one of them. But we don't need officers coming up there to our sister house being disrespectful, because if that's the case, enough has been done, they can just stay away. I want to also say that I'm speaking about this hero, you guys, your hero that, you know, everyone speak about. Again, he's not a hero to us. To me, he's a coward. That's how I feel. And again, like I said, we just want to know, we want answers. My sister, she need closure. We're baffled and confused as to why. What caused him to speed going up the hill? He speed up the hill to the point where there were skid marks in the street. By the grace of God, my nephew, is here. He made it, but he was thrown to a wall. And my other nephew, JaQuil, you know, he's gone. We had no remorse. I went to the court the next day because he was arraigned in Paterson, and I had some issues about that as well. But he showed no remorse, none whatsoever. And again, he's a coward. I feel that if it was the other way around, if the shoe was on the other foot, had that been JaQuil that had hit the officer, he would have got they would have slapped him with the law. And yet, this officer goes to court and get a $50,000 bail and post his bail with a 10% and walk out the courtroom like as if nothing never even happened. He took yes.
Please.
He
Just a second. I know emotions are running high, but please don't shout from the audience. Let the folks speak, please. Don't do that. Please continue.
Okay. I want to know, again, like what caused him to speed going up the hill. As an officer of the law, he's supposed to uphold the law. That's his job. He arrests people that do wrong. He arrests people that violate and go against the law, who doesn't respect the law. He arrests people that do bad. And yet, he turned around and he did just what he was supposed to be against. He left the scene of an accident. He never once, as an officer of the law, he never once came back to see if my nephews were okay. As a hero act is you get out of the car and you make sure the pedestrians are okay. You call the cops. Mind you, he is an officer. Call your officer, get on your walkie-talkie, make calls. As an officer, he's trained to do CPR, a whole lot of other things along with that. Who's to say that if he had gotten out of his car, he could have done CPR, put pressure to the wound, he could have saved my nephew. Who's to say, what would have happened? Because I believe there would have been a chance. But he never once he kept going right up the hill. And then to top it off, he went home to his family. JaQuil couldn't come home to his family. We had to all go sit at an emergency room in the family room. He went home to his family, and he sat there Not one time did he ever once pick the phone up to report the accident in. Not one time did he even, again, stop, to see and to check and see if they were. He did none of the above. So to get a bail for $50,000 with a 10%, it's absurd. It's absurd. My sister and my family, we are irate, we are furious, and we want justice done. So I also have to bring up another incident, about 2 or 3 months ago, the Slater case. He was, in a car, and a young man was killed, other people were hurt in the vehicle, and he was given a bail of $350,000. They slapped the law on him. And to this day, he is incarcerated. And again, I speak and I ask, why do this officer have a bail of $50,000 with a 10%? I'm an advocate of doing what's right. And I hope all of you people here are the same way as well. I'm a firm believer in God. And we are supposed to walk Christian life, just how Jesus did. And you guys, because you're somewhat over us when it comes to the law, you're supposed to do what is right. So I hope and pray that you guys do the right thing, you do what is right, and let this officer be on the other side of the fence. Treat him just how you would do me, him, her, and everybody else here in this room. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was going to see if he wanted to talk. So next we're going to have one of his other aunts, and her name is Dorothy.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dorothy. I'm the sister of the father, and I'm coming up here to express our feelings about him. We all loved JaQuil, and they always was together, all three of those boys. They was very close, and it's a sad tragedy. And I feel like she feels. We want justice. We want him to pay for what he did. He walked away, just left him there like a dog in the street, and it's wrong. And I expect for the city to have him brought up on charges for that, And my family is grieving, his family is grieving. It's wrong, and we want justice for it. And we hope that y'all, good people, will do that. Do what is right. That's what we want. He was a sweet guy. He didn't do anything to nobody. He was calm. He was nice. And I know that God is gonna get us all through this. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope that y'all understand how we feel. I really do, because it really hurts all of us inside. And I know that his mother, that hole can't be filled for her. And I know that his father, that hole can't be filled. They're going to feel that for the rest of their lives. I never lost a child. I don't know what they're going through, but I know it hurt them. I know they feel real bad inside that someone killed their son and left them there. And I'm just hoping and praying that y'all understand that as well, because if one of y'all kids, y'all would want justice. So please, do that for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, his father is definitely here, and he's very emotional, and of course, it's hard for a father to step in to a room full of people to talk about his child being killed. It's a difficult thing. He also has a stepfather who's also here, and his name is Frank. He's going to come and address the crowd. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Council.
Good evening.
Council President, men and women. I just want to say, like, you know, just give you a little bit of background about Jake, you know, that I know of, you know, since I've been around his family. This is a wonderful, loving family. You know, I couldn't ask for a better second family, honestly. You know, and Jake, Yasan is his other brother, Amin, his sister, mine, they treat me like I'm their father. You know, I've been around them several years. You know, Jake is a good guy. You know, we all got our situations, we all got our issues where we do things wrong and stuff like that. Jake is not one of those guys. Jake, if you don't see Jake with his girlfriend or his son, you don't see Jake. Jake is a dedicated family man. And for something like this to happen to him is really, really tragic. You know, it kind of like bothered me a little bit, you know, to go to work and to look in the newspaper or to read on the internet that this officer received $50,000 bail. It's kind of hard to deal with. You know, I had situations in my past is not clean, no it's not. I had situations in my past with less crime, less activity. Is it because of who I am that I received a $500,000 bail? You know what I mean? I just think that's unfair. As an officer of the law, you are trained to do things. You are trained to protect and serve the people. Why didn't you serve Josh? I understand that he was recognized as a heroic officer last year, of, you know, doing a heroic act of saving those 3 different individuals in the building. And, you know, I commend him in that. I really commend him in that, because that could have been any one of our kids that in that building and he wasn't there saved. But I think the heroic act should have been portrayed at the same time this incident happened with Jake. Where is your hero now? Jake was laying on the street. It took someone off the side of the street that was riding past to notice that he was laying there, not knowing that pretty much he was dead. The officer took no initiative to even stop anything. He hit the brakes, yeah, to make a skid mark to get out of Dodge, to get out of sight. Let's just say that there wasn't any information or any cameras located on Temple Street. Who did it? This man went home right after that with no remorse. It kind of baffles me, actually, to know that this incident happened at 8:30, 8:25 Tuesday night. We get the information, we're home asleep, we get the information that he was arrested at 6 o'clock, 6:30 the next morning, Wednesday morning. He was apprehended. He left the scene of a crime. He was apprehended, arrested, processed, and made bail within 24 hours before the rest of the family even know Jake was dead. Phone calls are still being made to let the family and friends know what happened to Jake. $5,000? Honestly, with a 10%? I mean, I'm not exactly sure what everybody means, what everybody knows what that means. A 10% means on a bail, which means no matter what the outcome is, you're getting your money back. So that's what a life costs, $5,000? I understand, you know, that this like I'm kind of shook up a little bit too. You know, actually I'm shook up a lot. I'm shook up a lot. But I have to be there for this family, and I'm going to be there for them. Whatever they want from me, whatever they need from me, they got it. They already know that. But I'm asking you, as the people of Paterson, there's something you can do. I don't know what it is that you can do, but it's within your power. There's something you can do, and I'm just asking that you do it. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart, are you going to do closing remarks?
Well, actually, I'm just going to leave it at this. We're going to leave here now, and we're going to assemble outside and walk back peacefully. I'm going to hope and pray that you all keep, not me in mind. Don't keep me in mind. I'm not important at all. I'm not. But This young girl right here means a whole lot to me. So if any of you care at all about me at all, remember this face. Remember that face. Remember these family members' faces. And listen, I know you got things to put on your agenda. I can appreciate that. You guys are the part of the reason why the city runs the way it does. But do me a favor. Make this a priority. Take care, y'all.
Kenyatta, is there anything we'd like to say on the social media?
Listen, just continue to pray for the family. Continue to pray for the family.
Thank you.